I'm Ted Berg for SNY.TV, and this is Know Your Enemy, presented by Pepsi Max. The Yankees head to Tampa for an AL East battle with the Rays, so joining us today is Cork Gaines from RaysIndex.com. Cork, how are you?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Cork, the Rays are struggling a little bit, and we'll get to that in a second, but the upside for them has to be that they've got some reinforcements on the way, and they're still on the fringes of contention this year.
Absolutely. I mean, if it's going to be one season where you're going to kind of have things fall apart for you, this would be a good year to do it now that there's that second wild card team. And as bad as things have been for the Rays recently, they're still only a game and a half out in that race. And so, you can look at how far ahead the Yankees are, but right now that really shouldn't be the focus for the Rays. And, hopefully as guys get healthy and come back, there'll be a good push in the second half.
Well, let's talk about those struggles. Their offense has really been struggling. I say it again, but they've got a bunch of guys in the lineup who just look like massive holes.
Yeah, and that's, ultimately that's the one place where you're going to have the most problems with a team like the Tampa Bay Rays. And, and as great as things they do with the low payroll, you're going to end up with a situation where if you do have injuries, your depth is going to shine through, and there's really not much depth on this team. And you end up giving too many at-bats to guys like, Will Rhymes or a Brooks Conrad, who's been good, but is not the sort of guy that you really want in there on an everyday basis. So, the offense has struggled, and, missing guys like Evan Longoria and Matt Joyce, it's been rough on the team.
Well, what's the timetable for some of the injured players?
Well, the big question mark is Evan Longoria. They need to get him back, but when he went on his rehab assignment and retweaked the injury, or possibly retore the hamstring, right now it's just a big mystery as to when he's going to come back. If worst case scenario is we may not see Evan Longoria again until September, when at that point maybe it's too late. And so in the meantime, the Rays are just going to have to kind of scrap and claw with what they got and hope the pitching is going to be good enough.
Well, let's talk about that pitching, because that has been pretty good. And tonight's starter, Matt Moore, a huge prospect coming into the season, appears to be making good on that now.
Absolutely. I mean, this guy is phenomenal, and the upside is limitless, really, with him. I mean, you can say what you want about the Rays pitching, and you got David Price is obviously great, going to his third straight All-Star game, and you've got James Shields, who's consistently great, but Matt Moore has the potential to be better than all of them, and you're starting to see it this season.
And James Shields is a guy we've obviously seen plenty before. Anything different out of him this year?
James Shields is what he is. Last year was kind of one of those fluke, career seasons where he was just amazing from start to finish and almost unstoppable. This year he's kind of come back a little bit, but this is really more of what we expect from James Shields. He's a workhorse who's going to go out there and give you 7 or 8 innings, give up 2 or 3 runs. His biggest flaw is just the occasional home run, and you just hope there's not 1 or 2 guys on base when it happens.
And finally, Price has just been outstanding this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's come into his own, and this is what we kind of always hoped for when he was the first pick in the draft, that he would finally rise his potential, and this year he's been amazing. He's kind of kicked into an extra gear, and it's been fun to watch.
Pretty scary for the rest of the AL East to imagine Price and some of the young arms in their system all in the same rotation.
Absolutely, and that's the key to this Rays team. For whatever the offense is, or however it struggles, or whatever injuries there are, as long as the pitching's in place, this team is going to be competitive, and they're not going to fall out of the race. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win anything, but they'll always be there.
Cork, thanks so much.
Always my pleasure.
Remember, for all the latest Yankee coverage, be sure to check in at itsaboutthemoney.net and chat with other Yankee fans throughout the series at nyfans.com.